All right, on this episode, we are talking about what to do when you find out that your teen is the bully. All right, first things first, you are not alone. Let me tell you a story. So, back when I was in grad school, I was asked to do an assessment on this fifth grader because his parents were like, I think he's like, there's something going on. I think he's being bullied. And so I went into the school and I observed, and here's the plot twist. You ready? He was the bully. He was the one that was mistreating everyone. He was the one that was using repeated force and hurtful teasing and comments and threats in order to abuse and imitate or intimidate and dominate his peers, because that's the definition of bullying. That's the first thing that I want to kind of clear up first. So the definition of bullying is repeated use of force, forceful teasing or hurtful teasing, comments, and threats in order to abuse, intimidate, and dominate your peers. Remember, it has to be repeated. If it's just one kind of thing, then it's not bullying, it's just being a jerk. But this is when you're doing it over and over, your teen's doing it over and over and over again. That's what we're talking about in regards to bullying. All right, so the first thing that you want to do, I'm a big fan of restorative justice. If you have never heard of this term, I absolutely loved it. I learned about it when I did a semester in downtown Chicago, and I did an urban studies minor when I was in undergrad. And essentially what restorative justice is, it is all about repairing the harm that bullying has done and promoting healing that the bullying has done. It's usually used in like criminals and like offenders, those kind of things, but I apply it to bullying because we want to repair the harm and we want to promote healing. So here's the first step in order to do restorative justice when you find out that your teen is the bully. First thing is you're going to require them to write an apology letter. Yes, they have to sit down and they have to write it. No texting, no emailing, no Snapchatting, no videos, nothing like that. They have to sit down and they have to write it out and they have to apologize, and no crap apologies like, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. No, it's, I'm sorry that I did this behavior to you. And here's the other big thing with apologies. I don't know if you guys know this, but apologies are only lip service unless there is behavior change. So it's in the letter they're saying, like, I apologize for doing this behavior, and in the future, I'm going to do this instead. And they're legitimately not doing it. You ever have those people that like, they're like, oh, I'm sorry for doing this, and then the next day they do it all over again? It's that apology was just lip service. It wasn't actually an apology. We want to get those apologies out there. So first step with restorative justice for when your teen is the bully is you're going to require them to write an apology letter to the person who they bullied. Second step is you're going to require them to do something that is going to repair the harm that they gave to that person or did to that person, caused in that person, and it's going to do something to protect healing. And I don't know what this is because it really depends on what they did that caused the harm, but they're going to have to do something kind, something nice for the person. So if they were like, hey, don't be friends with this person, well, now they're going to like legitimately go out and like hang out with that person. And they're going to invite other people around, and they're going to be like, that person that they bullied or excluded is going to be like the guest of honor. So that is another example of this. I had a client who's a fifth grader and was doing a lot of online bullying or cyber bullying with like social media and like gaming systems, and like you can like add stuff to the chat, those kind of things. And him and his friends thought that it was hilarious to like throw out and like call one of the other people that was playing because they were homosexual, like make homosexual comments and like remarks and, you know, teasing and all of the things. It's just not cool. And so the mom was like, what do we do about this? And I was like, well, we're going to do some restorative justice. He has to write a letter. And then the other thing that he's going to have to do is he's going to have to go volunteer at this home in our area that is specifically for the LGBTQIA plus community, or like teenagers and youth. So like in this place that they have, it's a house, and they house youth who are part of the LGBTQIA plus community. And so the mom made him go, and like an 11-year-old, like 11, 12-year-old, go and volunteer at this location so that they knew and they learned what it was like to kind of be around these individuals who he was making, these nasty comments about, and was like bullying into someone that was part of that community. So that's an example of that second step of restorative justice. So that's what's going to happen. Like if your child, if your teen has bullied. Here's the other thing. We want to prevent it as much as we possibly can. We want to prevent our child from bullying someone else, our teen from bullying someone in the future. So this is what we're going to do. There's this phrase called, we need to take the covert behavior, like the sneaky behavior of bullying, because we kind of do it. All of our kids do it. All of our teens do it on the down low, right? Like we're not readily aware of it. We need to take that covert behavior and we need to make it overt. We need to bring it into the light. We need to be able to see it. We need to know exactly when they are doing it so that we can go in and we can do the restorative justice if they bullied someone, and we're going to just need to be more aware of it. So that's going to mean increased monitoring. So if they tend to be, and a lot of bullying nowadays is cyberbullying, is online, is social media. So like sending, inappropriate Snapchats, those kind of things. So what you're going to do is you're going to increase monitoring. So they're going to have to give over the stupid fly. They're going to have to give up their phone more often so you can do more regular checks on their social media, those kind of things. So you're going to increase that monitoring. If it happened with a sports team, because one of my clients was recently bullied or was being bullied by two of his teammates in like a group chat that they had, like a group text that they had. And so I told the parents to go to the coaches. So you're going to if it's happening at school, you're going to talk with the teachers. If it's happening on a sports team, you're going to talk to the coaches. You want everyone who's in that environment where the bullying is happening to be aware of it so that they can be on your team and so that they can let you know if they become aware that it's happening so that you can go in and put the consequences in that restorative justice. And we'll talk about other consequences in a second. And you want to let them know, like, hey, I am serious about this. I do not want my child or my teen bullying other people. It is not okay in our household, because I think so often some parents who it turns out whose kids are the bully, they're my kid's not the bully. I mean, it definitely happened with that fifth grader that I was talking about. Like the parents were like, my kid is not the bully. And I was like, no, for real. Like your kid is the bully. I watched it with my own eyes. I talked with the teachers and those kind of things. And so you want to have everyone who's in that environment with you to help you increase that monitoring so that as soon as it happens, you can come in with the consequences. Now, here's the consequences that I want you to come in with. If it's happening on social media, well, then we want to be using logical consequences. So you're going to reveal this in advance to your teen after they did the bullying before. Hey, if you bully again, you're going to be removed from social media for X number of days, however many days you would like. I don't think, again, it has to be reasonable. It's not you're banned from it forever. Well, we're not teaching that. We want to teach them what to do. So you're going to take away social media for a little bit, and you're going to require them to complete a course on appropriate social media usage. Or you're going to have them, if they're doing it in the school, well, you're going to teach them, or in a sports team, you're going to have them take a course on like appropriate, positive peer relationships. So they have to do a course. They're going to have to feel the pain a little bit in order for this behavior not to happen again, because we want to teach them like, hey, why should we not be bullying? And so that's going to be so we have the prevention. We need to take the covert and overt by bringing in the teachers and the coaches so that we can increase the monitoring so we know exactly when it's happening. And then if it does happen, that's when the logical consequences are going to come in. You're going to take away their social media. Maybe they're not allowed to like go to certain people's houses, whatever it is. You're going to remove something that's desirable, because we are going to punish them, because that's how we reduce bullying. That's how we reduce a behavior, was we put in a punishment. So we're going to take away something that's desirable, and then we're going to make them take a course or do something that's going to teach them appropriate behaviors for that specific arena or behavior, bullying in this case, and then use that restorative justice. And why do we care? Why do we care if our child is the bully? Here's why, is because how your teen treats their peers is going to be how they treat their romantic partners. So when they start dating, do you really want your teen engaging in domestic or dating violence? I didn't think so. Or verbal emotional abuse, I don't think so. It's not pretty. And then it's also going to be how they treat their romantic partners. It's going to be how they treat their friends from here on out. And it's going to be how they treat their coworkers. So then your teen is going to be labeled as the kid that doesn't play nice in the sandbox. Do you really want that for your child? Because they're going to be using force and hurtful teasing and comments and threats in order to intimidate and dominate and abuse. Do you really want that for your teen? I don't want that for your teen. So this is why we want to be having these conversations. If we know that we find out that our teen is the bully, we're going to be engaging in restorative justice. We're going to write an apology note. They're going to require them to do something kind or nice for the person that they bullied. And then they're going to have those prevention, covert, overt, increased monitoring, get everyone on your team with you, paying attention to the same behaviors, and then you use logical consequences. So you're going to remove them from temporarily remove them from whatever area, environment that they did the bullying, and then you're going to have them take a course, or maybe you're going to teach them a course, or maybe you guys read a book together, or you guys do a course together, whatever it is, on appropriate peer relationships, friendships, social media use, whatever it is. And by doing this, we are going to be reducing bullying behavior. And by doing that, we're going to be throat punching this youth mental health crisis. Let's go.